Yeah, I got first round talent, awesome traits. Character can be a little hit or miss over his tenure. Again, this is inside info, FC, I don't know.
Yeah. So that's what you just got from an NFL person.
Yeah.
First round talent.
First round talent.
First round talent.
And like attributes like length, speed, explosion. I think the character is probably dropped him. And again, character, like we said, is not like arrested and stuff. It's just
so it's interesting you say that. No one had said the word character to me. I talked to someone a couple weeks ago around the SC program. They just said maturity, which is, like if you went through all the character categories, like maturity is one you can deal with, especially if you have a high level program. I actually like this pick because you're betting on your established pipeline of producing defensive linemen. So John just told you what he heard from an NFL person was first round talent. I'll tell you what I heard from someone close to the SC program. This is a scouting report I got a couple weeks ago, and we were just holding it in case Drake Jackson got drafted by the Niners. This is what this person around the program told me. I'm not as high as him on some SC people are. I was confused with his weight loss from his freshman to his sophomore year. He dropped 20 pounds. He's a little awkward. He's 6'4", 260. And it's like, is he a really big outside linebacker or an underside defensive end? I always thought he could play at 280 and be a beast. If some defensive coordinator gets him and has a versatile scheme and he does that, put your hand down, drop, he's athletic enough to do that. First round pick, I think he's a great second round pick, but his best ball could definitely be ahead of him. I watched an interview that he did like a couple weeks ago, and what he said was, I'm a 3-4 outside linebacker or a 4-3 defensive end, wherever they need me. Okay, so what my guy is telling me is he played both in college, and he felt like he was kind of in between both of them, and it was never quite right, and he thought that Drake London should bulk up a little bit.
I just wrote good pass rusher question. Oh, yeah. And when I say character, when NFL people say that encapsulates from getting arrested to being immature. Here's another quote I got. Can do it all. Very versatile player. I just brought up his wiki. He just turned 21. So this is a very, very young player. And his combine pre-draft measurables, basically 6'3", 255, 34-inch arms. Like we crushed Aiden Hutchinson. So I can be a little shorter if I got long arms. 36.5-inch vert. So you talk about explosion. He can stand up. He can be in line. He can be reduced. This is the scout. Obviously, they do the wide 9, get upfield. I think they just got themselves. You know who this? I'm not saying he's this guy. This guy went in the first round, but D Ford, I would say some, a little shorter, but explosion, but long and bendy. I think this guy is their next D Ford, right? D Ford.
Yeah, I mean the story,
double-digit pass rusher, but
the story is that he's doing now what my guy told me 2 weeks ago he needs to do, which is get bigger, like bulk up, pick a position, and play at a higher weight.
Here's the thing, though. The Niners don't demand, like they were cool with D Ford, right? Just pass. Yeah. If you can be a good, they don't need him to be Khalil Mack against the run. One thing they do have is 3 linebackers that can fly around and tackle, right? They drafted this guy to chase the passer. I'm not saying like they don't want him to get bigger and stop the run. You always want a well-rounded player, but if you can give me 8 sacks this year, would be a home run, right? Yeah. If I tell you he's an 8-sack guy, but he's not that great against the run, wouldn't they be cool with that right now?
Yes. I also think, and JT says, if you told me somebody had maturity issues, and again, that's such a general term, but if that came up after he'd played for Lincoln Riley for 3 years, I'd go, okay, we're talking about a guy that's very young, played for a program that we could say lacked direction, would be a nice way to put it. They were not good on defense, right? It was a bit of a mess what he just came out of. He didn't just come out of like Pete Carroll's USC.
I'll give you a good example of maturity issues. And again, maturity issues can mean a lot of different things. I don't think Eric Armstead was viewed as this super mature guy coming out like Buckner was when he came out, because Armstead came out a little younger. I would say that Armstead has become one of the pillars of the team, right? Maturity, what he does around the community, he's come a long way. You know why? He was like 21 years old. And I do defend for guys that haven't been in trouble, that just maturity issues, like you're allowed to be a little immature at 19, 20, 21 years old. Now, this is professional, you have to mature. He immediately gets around. I would say, Eric Armstead, that's a good influence. the way Nick Bosa doesn't say much, but the way he conducts himself, and pretty clearly with the 49ers, there is zero fuck around with that D-line coach, right? There is no like screwing around in that group, right? You would say in their time, whether they've had high-level guys or guys you haven't heard about, it is the most buttoned up unit of they've had good defenses, but that group just feels very just everyone's on the same page for those four.
Yep.
Or, it's really 8 of them or 9 of them, but
I think it's a really good pick. I don't, at the end of the second round, getting we talked about it yesterday. Like, when do you find that type of guy at the end of the second round, that type of potential at the end of the second round? And you'd say he's been underutilized. USC Corey Foreman's the other guy they got now coming off the edge. He looked good. He looked good in the spring game to me. He looks incredible. He was their number 1 recruit last year. Did nothing last year. The highlight that everyone goes to is the Drake Jackson pick 6 against San Jose State. That one comes up a lot. So you guys will be seeing that one soon. But
I think the 49ers have shown an inclination, and it's the right one. Because I learned under this philosophy with the Eagles, when all else fails, go line, D-line, O-line, go big heavies. Because when you do hit on them, it's game changer, right?
Well, I think you and I talked about this yesterday, and John Lynch said this to Thomas Dimitroff the other day on his podcast, that when him and Kyle Shanahan got together, they made a list of like, what are we about? And one of the things they agreed on is we're about a defensive line, and they have.
You're saying when they got hired?
Yeah,